Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice and Bengals Nation. I hope you found the show. We moved it back about a half hour, trying to make it easier for people to view the show. But if you're first time viewing, maybe or maybe not, you may not know this or not, but this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. All right, guys, found the show. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. I'm getting it going here. We're up to 667 subscribers. That is awesome. Let's keep it rolling. Try to get to 700 as fast as we can. Okay, I titled this as should the Bengals move on from Zac Taylor? A lot of you think he should. I'm kind of starting to lean that way a little bit, but let's see here. The Bengals lost their 21 to nothing lead. They lost it. Then they end up losing the game 27-3 or 27-31 over the Colts. Now we got Carlos Dunlap going to come out and go live and maybe complain about the Bengals, maybe complain about Zac Taylor, but we've had that happen already. I'm going to bring in my boy Jeremy Dean. Is Zac losing the locker room? I mean, I think he is at this point.
To me, when you got now, this would be the third player, along with you mentioned Dunlap. Now we have Sean Williams, and we have Darius Phillips. Everybody's tweeting, we're wasting talent in Cincinnati. We have a young team with tons of talent. With the injuries, we're wasting talent. That's what keeps coming up. So I say yes. When you have veteran players coming out and putting things on Twitter and talking to the public and going on local shows and throwing Zac under the bus, at this point, yes, I believe we're losing, especially after losing a 21-0 lead. We're losing this team.
Now, this is the frustrating part to me where I'm like, I've defended, like, I don't think we get rid of Zac, is what I've said in the past. But okay, like I said, if he's losing the locker room, I'm changing my mind. But let me get into this first. This was the fourth time in 6 games that the Bengals had the lead going into the fourth quarter. Now, granted, they only had the lead for a couple seconds in the fourth quarter in this game, but they still had the lead. So, I mean, I'll put it to you this way. If we fire Zac Taylor now, we've talked about this before. It's going to be Jim Turner. It's going to be Callahan. It's going to be Arumo. It's one of those guys. It's going to be a head coach. And I don't think those guys are any better than Zac. So I think we got to let it play out. And if Zac Taylor only wins 1 or 2 or 3 games this year, I mean, what is he? He's 3-33-1 or something like that is his record. I mean, that's If it doesn't get any better, then yes, you have to fire him. You have to move on. I mean, we were just talking about in the pre-show fist fight, the Browns, they kept changing coaches, and they finally got the right one. I mean, I brought it up. The LA Rams, they had Jeff Fisher when they first moved out there. They drafted Jared Goff, and it wasn't very good. And then they got what's that guy's name? I can't think of the coach now. Zac Taylor came from him. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. They got him and they took off. Went to Sean McVay. There we go. Cheezel.
McVay, yeah. McVay.
Anyway, so that's where I'm like, I think it's too early to do it. I think it's leaning that way. I mean, a lot of stuff has got to change. So we got a couple questions here. Let's see here. Shaney, I wish the Bengals would win some more because my brother would be in a better mood.
That's my little sister. Hi, Anna. Yeah, that's true. It's I'm not in the best mood when we lose. I'll admit it.
Yep. Mike has joined us.
Hey,
so Mike, what's your thoughts? We were talking about the beginning of the show here. What's your thoughts on Zac Taylor? Should we keep him? Should we move on? What is your sense of things? Is he losing the locker room?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the locker room's a big issue. Yeah, he needs to go, to be honest with you. But I'd give him probably next year, but that would be it for me.
Yeah. All right, Keith. I would have never hired him to begin with. We should have done whatever it took to get the enemy last. Dude, we're on the same page. Me and Jeremy were just talking about that Bieniemy would have been our choice. And the cool thing about Bieniemy is he is a former Bengal. He was here through the doldrums of the 90s, so he knows what us Bengals fans have went through. So, but the thing is, we can't hire him now. And the problem is the Houston Texans are going to be looking for a coach. The Jets are probably going to be looking for a coach. Who else fired their coach? Somebody else fired. There's like 3 openings Houston. Right now. Yeah, I said Houston. I said Houston.
Oh, you did?
I said Houston.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a couple of them out there. So, it's not going to be a given that he's going to come here just because he's a former Bengal. So who knows?
But we do have a good chance. I mean, once this year ends, if we offer him a good contract, I don't see Bieniemy saying no. Now,
right.
And we're talking about Zac.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, as we're talking about Zac Taylor, I completely agree with the players. After watching that debacle on Sunday, Joe Burrow played his heart out. The guy played. He was throwing passes. I mean, the offensive line played decent. The Colts are a little overrated, in my opinion.
Really good.
They're the number one defense. Yeah, they're supposed to be the number one defense in the NFL. I don't really see that with the Colts. Statistically, they are, but
right.
On the other hand, we're talking about these players that are now coming out complaining about the Bengals, complaining about the coaching, complaining. The 3 players that we're talking about are Sean Williams that have come out publicly.
Yeah,
Sean
right.
Williams, Darius Phillips, and Carlos Dunlap. Now, those 3 players played quite a bit. They're all on defense, and they played quite a bit Sunday. Where were you at? Phillips,
right.
I'm talking to you. You had a horrible game. Sean Williams, when you were in there, you were late. You had a horrible game. And Dunlap, you ain't had a sack all year. I'm not standing up for Zac Taylor whatsoever. I believe he is, like I told you before, he's the guy that runs the ship. He's the one that needs to take everything that anybody throws at him because he deserves it. He's been a pretty mediocre coach and that's as nice as I can put it. But
right.
The guys complaining, where were you Sunday? Where were you? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And the thing is, I know we had the game thread going on Bengals Nation, and it was blowing up. Everybody's all excited. We're up 21 points. We're doing great. I'm like, who is this? This is great. And the defense in the first quarter, they shut them down. Bates even said, he goes in his after the game press conference or whatever, I don't think they got a first down in the first quarter. He goes, and then it all fell apart. I'm like, well, how did it fall apart? And to me, I'm like, that's where I kind of have a hard time with blaming. It always falls on the head coach. But to me, Lou Amoroso, I've said this on the show, don't play zone. And you kept playing zone. And how many times did the running back come out of the backfield or a wide receiver coming out right in the middle? And there's nobody by them. None. And we'd catch the pass, we'd run for 10 yards. And they converted on a third and 10, a third and 8, a third and 7. You can't let them do that. That's where it's like defense. Somebody's got to go, this is not happening. And that never came up, And
just to add to that, and then Mike, we'll get your view on it. Our defense gave 7 out of 11 third downs. Now, you might say, well, they only had third down 11 times. 7 of 11 is way, way too high of a percentage. Every time we would play the base defense, we would play zone defense. We would rush 3 people. We had old man Rivers back there standing around. Hell, he was hurt. He even hurt his ankle during the game, and it didn't matter because our guys were not getting after him. 7 out of 11 third downs, and they only had 11 third downs because they were moving the ball so far down the daggone field, we couldn't stop them either way. It didn't matter. So where are you at, Gino? Where are you at, Dunlap? I know we have injuries, but my God, this has got to stop. I don't know what you got to say, Mike, but that's where I am with it for on the defense Sunday.
Yeah, it literally was pathetic, to be honest with you. I mean, the defense looked like they were so confused out there; they didn't even know what they were doing. And when it's 3rd and 10, that's unexcusable. You should get them off the downs. Get them on the sideline and get our offense out there and start scoring. But the whole game was just pathetic.
All right, hold on. Let's try to get some comments here. They're blowing me up here. Keith, some things never change. Just like the Marvin years, worst team in the league at making adjustments. And, I agree with you. But, the thing is, beginning of the year, I was praising Zach because he was making adjustments, And now it's just like they didn't, like I said, the guy coming out of the backfield or, at least across the middle, they never did it. Never stopped them. So I need to put in their boot in their rear ends. Yeah. Let's see here. Facebook user. You can't lose a 21-point lead. Come on. Those are still pro athletes. Yeah. And the thing is, I was listening to the Bengals booth podcast with Dan and Lap, and Dan brought up a point that the Bengals in 1979, 2 years before they went to the Super Bowl, lost the biggest lead they've ever lost, which was 24 points. And they lost that to the Houston Oilers. So, I mean, it happens. Let's see here. If Mike Brown owes Zac Taylor money, he won't get fired. Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, though, I think, at least I'm hoping this, Mike Brown wants and needs a new stadium deal, and that was one I think is one of the big reasons why they did so much stuff on this offseason and they did so many things is he's trying to get people to go. And the thing is, look, they're only letting 12,000 people in the stadium. Not everybody's going, there's still tickets available. So that tells you something right there that they're not happy. And I'll tell you this, if Mike Brown is losing money on tickets, you all can do 12,000 and we only have 10 in there or whatever it is, that's going to make him change something again, So,
and like we were talking about earlier, we can't sit around and sell the team Mike Brown. Mike Brown, go away. Okay, maybe Mike Brown go away. But if he don't keep it in the family, if we ever lose the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, as you said, Jeff, we're never going to have a football team again.
We're not getting
one
back.
We're going to have exactly. So we're going to have to stick with this team. We have tried, but the injuries, you look at Mike Daniels, you look at Trey Waynes, he was our biggest acquisition, hasn't played a down. DJ Reader went down. We've been in every game except one against Baltimore. We were blowing out the Colts. I mean, there's something that is just not adding up. But I would also like to bring this up real quick. We added Von Bell. He's an ex-Buckeye. I love Von Bell. But we added him 2 or 3 years too late. He got burned. He got burned worse than a cheese sandwich out there on Sunday. I mean, it was sad. Sims is another one. Why are we putting Sims in? Why is Sims starting? He's an undrafted free agent. They picked on him all day. We played zone defense. That's how you give up 21-0 lead. That's how you do it, is you put in those type of players, and that has to come on Zac Taylor. I don't know who else to blame it on. You can blame it on the defensive coordinator, but at the end of the day, Zac Taylor runs the damn team.
Yeah, it falls on Zach. That's for sure. Hang on a second here. All right, Keith, think about great coaches, Lombardi, Parcells, Belichick. The one thing from them is they're going to be straight with you. The minute you're not, you're losing the entire team. Yeah, and that's the part. Look, if he's losing the team, then he's done. And if they go only 3 wins or 4 wins, yeah, he's done. Facebook user only rushed 3 times on several times on passing downs. Yeah. And then Adam, are one of our normal viewers here. See, he never talks about what's really going on in the locker room, and I feel and believe they don't trust him. Yeah, they might. And one thing is, though, I mean, honestly, I don't think any of this stuff should be coming out. To be honest, Zach shouldn't say anything. Dunlap shouldn't say anything. They're men. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if you got a problem with me or whatever, you want to talk, hey, call me up, talk man to man, face to face. Don't go, like, I'm not going to go on my podcast here and go, oh, that Jeremy D, man, I can't stand him. Mike Kyle, oh my goodness, what's wrong with him? I'm not going to do that. I mean, if there's something going on, then, I'll talk to you guys, not over this. And that's what I think needs to happen, regardless of who's upset with who,
That's
what
true.
you got, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, if Zac Taylor had a problem with any player on the team, if it's the quarterback, offense line, anybody, he should at least bring him into the office and have a sit-down talk with one-on-one and then bring the next guy in. Or if it's just one person, have a sit-down talk with them. Don't be doing what they're doing, because it's going to be a mess now with all the stuff that's going to go on. So,
right, and we know for a fact that Zac doesn't communicate with his players. He did it to Andy last year when he benched Andy. He did it to Carlos when he not benched him, but put him on third downs. You got to talk, dude. I mean, that you are the CEO of that team, basically, All right, here you go. John.
Dead on. Just dead on.
All right. I'm here. I'm here. Is Zac on the hot seat by any chance?
Hey, John, what's going on, man?
If you guys are on Bengals Nation, you see what they've been saying, then yeah. Here's the originator of fire the coach, and he said fire the coach first week. City boy, fire everyone that plays, coaches, owner, everyone gets fired today. It's kind of hard to fire the owner. I think we're kind of stuck there.
Well, but and to go back to, go ahead.
Okay. No, well, I'll just get the frustrating part to me is, for the 6 games, we could have easily won. We were leading at the beginning of the fourth quarter. I'm like, and that's where I get frustrated. That's where I'm like, okay, is this fool's gold? For me, is it fool's gold? Am I believing that we were so close, but we're really not, because we've been, like we said, we've been in every game except Baltimore. So I don't know what to believe. I don't know if changing the coach will work, but like I said, I will say this: if they only win 3 games, 4 games, he's got to go. You can't do it. You have Joe Burrow, and you got T. Higgins, you got Boyd, you got Mixon, you got all these offensive weapons and stuff. And the defense, I know they played like crap yesterday, but against Baltimore, they played good. There are good defensive players, and most of them are on the IL right now. But there are good young players here. So that's another thing. I'll get back to the point of Eric Bieniemy. That's one thing that we're going to have over most of these other teams, as far as if you fire Zac and you try to get a new coach in the offseason. I mean, Houston has got Watson, so he's pretty good. But everybody else, you got Atlanta, which that was the other team. Well, somebody on Facebook mentioned that. That's the other team that fired him. They got Matty Ice, but he's kind of old, so he might, his best years might be behind him. And then you got the Jets. Well, they haven't fired him yet, but they're going to. So that's another thing where it's exciting, a great opportunity for young coaches to want to come here and want to coach Joe Burrow up and these weapons we have.
Yeah, and to go back to John's question on, is Zac Taylor on the hot seat? I would not only say yeah, but I would say hell yeah. Zac Brown. Mike Brown cannot afford to keep doing this to Cincinnati fans. Guys, we're Cincinnati fans. We're not expert. We don't claim to be. We're just as angry. Yeah, exactly. We're just as angry as you guys are. And right. Mike Brown cannot stick with a coach that is going to take us right back in. Oh, well, this year we won 3 games. Next year we'll win 4. Maybe we'll eventually get to 8-8. He can't afford that because, as Jeff said, we're trying to get a renovated stadium or a new stadium built. One of the two has to it has to happen at some point. So if Bengal fans aren't coming to the game, he's not – I can't in the world envision Mike Brown allowing Zac Taylor to stay here next year if we win 2 or 3 games. We got to get our stadium full again and turn it back into the jungle and not into a few thousand people wearing some orange and black.
Right. And the thing is, you got a short window with with Joe freaking Burrow because he's on the rookie contract. Once that's up, and then he's probably going to want to get paid. I would think so, and that makes it harder, to develop it. So your time to win is now. All right, Dennis. The right side of it all is at least AJ finally showed up. Yeah, AJ had a good game except for that deep ball, man. And he even admitted it in the press conference afterwards that he goes, I should have went up for it. That's what I normally do. I normally go up after that ball. Me and Jeremy and Mike were talking about that during the game. Like, if he goes up to go get the ball, it might not be a touchdown. He might fall to the ground, but it's at least a catch. He's waiting for it to come down to him. And if you notice, I think that pissed AJ off. I think he was mad at himself because in the fourth quarter, he made 2 great catches. 2 great. And if Joe Burrow doesn't throw a damn interception, we win this game. But I'm keep saying we're going to win the game. We're going to win the game, and we haven't. But that's where I'm like, we're so close. That's where I'm like, I don't know. That's why I'm torn. I don't know. But if he loses the locker room, and we only, that's why I don't think you make a decision now. Because you can't. What are you going to do? It's going to be something on the coaching staff.
Exactly. And Burrow didn't lose the game. Burrow won the game. 27 points. 21-0, 24-7 at halftime. You don't lose those games. You don't put a rookie quarterback into that situation. He actually threw to the right read. Actually, the safety made a great play, and that's what it come down to. If that safety wasn't there, it'd have been a touchdown. Right. But fact of the matter is it keeps happening every week. We keep talking about the same thing every week. We're this close. We're this close. We should have won. We should have won, but we're not winning.
But we're not winning, right? Gitlow, our boy Gitlow's here. He said, "I'm here. The show could start now." All right, we were waiting on you, brother. We're waiting on you. Where you been at? All right, let's see here. There's a lot of questions, guys. Hold on a second. Facebook user. Let me get to this one. Mike, you can jump in if you got something to say, dude. I'm just trying to get to the questions here.
Yeah, I would like to say one thing real quick, though.
Go for it.
It's going to get real irritating, but my thing is if they don't start correcting this offense line real quick, Burrow's going to have a very, very short career. A very short career.
Yeah, but the thing is, yesterday, that wasn't a problem. Burrow got it, I think, twice. So that's what drives me nuts. That's where I'm like, okay, last week against Baltimore, our offense was horrible. The defense kept us in the game. This week, our offense was good the first quarter and a half, and then they should have turned these long drives into touchdowns instead of field goals. So it's like, that's where I'm like, it's 1 week, it's this. It's like you're trying to hold plug up a dam. You're plugging up this hole. Then you plug up this one. Oh, then I got to plug this one up. And it's always something. That's where I'm like, I don't know. That's where it gets.
And you're right about that, Jeff. I mean, it's like we know where the problem's at. We fixed the problem, but then it's something else. It's like
no. I don't agree with you. We don't know where the problem is. The problem is different every week. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
The problem, the consistent problem has been the offensive line, but they played good yesterday. They played good against San Diego. They played good, not great, but they played good. The parts of the team, they played good 1 week, and then something else plays like crap. It's like we need to get all of them play together.
Exactly. Right. The consistent problem is there's no damn consistency. That's the problem.
They're consistent, and that's what drives me freaking nuts. I'm like, that's where I'm like, 4 of 6 games, we were winning in the 4th freaking quarter. I'm like, you got to win those games. And that's where like, okay, is it a young team? Is it a young coach? What is it? Because there's always something different,
it's just like that one member said,
Huh?
He was that one member said, I think either last show or the show before that, but he was right. He said this team is not very consistent at all, and he hit that one on the head.
Right. All right, William. The Bengals production is not surprising. What is surprising is the drama going on right now. Taylor is definitely losing. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the other thing. It's like, okay, if we are this close, which I keep thinking we are, and I always, call me whatever, call me a homer, call me, too optimistic, whatever. But if he is losing the locker room, which it looks like he is, then it's never going to get any better, because these guys are just like, it's one in one ear, not the other, and they're not going to listen to what in the world he's saying. So that's where, again, if this is what's happening, and it sure as heck looks like that's what's happening, then, I think we need to move on from Zach. But like I said, if we move on from him now, is there another coach that the players like better? I mean, our offensive line hasn't played very good. It's been inconsistent. Our defense has been inconsistent. Honestly, our offense has been pretty consistent. I mean, I'll say a passing game. Now, that has to do with Joe Burrow, I think, more than anything. I mean, but, and I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Well, you look at the offense, man. Time of possession. We had the ball 34 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yeah.
That's more than you can ask for an offense. I mean,
dude, we're up 21 points.
300 yards passing, 98 yards total rushing. We did everything to win this game, and the defense blew it up. And you know what?
Right.
Like you said, it's inconsistency, and we can blame it on all the different coaches, anybody we want to blame it on. But the fact of the matter is Zac Taylor's the head coach, and we're not consistent. We're not doing what we can to win. He talks about a winning rhetoric all the time. That's all he talks about. We need to learn how to win here in Cincinnati. Well, Zach, you had a game yesterday to win, and you didn't do it.
And you should have won. I mean, we're talking about A.J. Green, what a bounce-back game he had. He had 96 yards. T. Higgins had 125 yards. We almost had 2 wide receivers with 200 yards combined. So, I mean, that's huge. We just lost Jeremy. I don't know what happened to him. But there, you're back. But that's huge. I mean, you got 2 guys who almost get 200 yards. I mean, we got Joe Mixon was 18 for 54 yards. Gio was 8 for 15 yards. I mean, our offense, you get that much production, you should win. And like I said, I keep going. I'm sitting there watching the game, and Philip Rivers had the game of his life. Okay, that's the best game he's played all year. And Billy Bates even said this, or just Billy Bates, fold red square. Jesse Bates even said this. He goes, Old Man Rivers was throwing the ball. He said they were out of bounds. The balls were out. So it was only to where his guys were either going to catch it or was going out of bounds. So he said those are really hard to defend, which they are. But how many times did we see guys wide open and nobody around them, for 10 yards? So.
Exactly. Going back to the zone defense that you like to bring up. And another thing, too, is this. Penalties. We had 6 penalties, which that's not too bad. But if you go back and watch the game, if anybody noticed, we didn't get penalties until it was 3rd and 10, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 2. We were getting penalties at the worst time. Bobby Hart.
Him and Redmond both jumped off at the same time.
Exactly. And you've got a rookie quarterback trying to, my God, score. I guess he's going to have to score 34 points a game from here on out. And every penalty that we had was literally at the worst time you can have a penalty. And veteran linemen should not be pulling this junk, jumping off. There was a time when Joe Burrow was trying to get the defense to jump off sides. The whole line knew it. He and there goes Bobby Hart. What? After they just had a timeout and huddled and said, "This is what we're going to do."
Right. Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
And just to let you know, Joe freaking Burrow did throw for 300 yards. Now, Old Man Rivers threw for 371. Now, the thing is, though, that's what kills me. We're up 21 points. The Colts got to throw the ball to get back in this. They do. So, and what did we talk about on Friday's show? Pressure. Get pressure. Pressure breaks pipes. Get pressure on Old Man Rivers. And the times we did, he threw it in the ground, or he threw it out of bounds, or he threw the interception. We just didn't do it enough. And like you said, we only rushed 3 guys. Like 3rd and 9, rush everybody. They got to go 10 yards. Rush them. And you should, and if you get to him fast enough, it doesn't matter how long the guys cover, because he's not going to be able to throw the ball.
He's not going to have the time.
I was just talking to Jeremy about that too last night, is why they don't go back to the, what was it, Jeremy? No huddle?
No huddle offense?
Yeah, no huddle offense. I mean, they do so well with that. Well, I don't know why they just don't do that again. I mean, I'm totally lost.
Well, I mean, they do 2 minutes. I mean, our offense wasn't the problem. We scored 27 points. Our offense wasn't the problem. Yeah. Hold on. I got let me try to go through here and get some of these questions. Okay. What has been consistent is no one makes big plays when we need it. Yes. Aside from the PI call, yeah, I will go back to that play. If they don't call that, and if AJ makes the play, which he did make the play, they don't call that, I think that changes their whole season. I really do. But, it is what it is. And
it definitely changes AJ's perspective of the season, because I think after that, he kind of just quit. I mean, until this last game, AJ has been a ghost.
Right. Yeah. John Kroger says we are not close. Yeah.
John, I wish I could say you're wrong.
Yeah, I can't argue with it. I just can tell you we were ahead in 4 out of the 6 games, and in the fourth quarter, those winning teams win those, and we didn't win them. So
a lot of injuries too, but everybody's got injuries. I don't want to keep harping on injuries.
Yeah, you can't. Everybody has injuries. I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's the NFL. Everybody, Anyway, Keith, I already did that one. Sorry. On, there's another one. Keith's got another one down there. And where'd he go? There he is. All right. Right on, Mike Kyle. No huddle. How about running draws and traps to slow down the pass rush? Yeah, but I mean, they didn't have a pass rush this game. I mean, they didn't. They sacked Zach twice, I think. That really wasn't a problem this game. I mean, the last game, yes. I mean, last game against Ravens, we had free rushers running up the middle. That's what drives me nuts. We fixed this, and then the defense sucks. That's where I'm just pulling my hair out, which I ain't got much hair left, but it just drives me nuts.
Well, and that's when you go back to third down. We were literally less than 50% on third down. A lot of that came from penalties. We would be at 3rd and 5. We would jump off sides. We would, have a 10, 12, 15-yard run. We were holding.
Right.
They came at the worst time. But when you have under 50% on third down, you're not going to do anything. But we still did. That was the amazing thing. Burrow still gave us plenty of points to win that game. And it was literally, when we were up 21-0, I think every Bengal fan that's going to watch this and that is watching now had the feeling like the Marvin Lewis era. Oh God, we're about to get conservative. We're about to base defense, zone, cover. Right. And that's exactly what we did. And that's exactly why we lost. And that's exactly why we're going to keep losing until we stop it.
Right. And this Williams got a good point, kind of on what you said. Yeah, why do the Bengals George rush 3 in big moments? It doesn't work. Hello. Yeah, exactly. And that's where I was yelling at the TV. Blitz them. It's especially if it's 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7. You got to blitz them and go after them. You got to put pressure on them. If they make it, they make it, But I would rather do that than back off of them 5 yards and give them the freaking first down, tackle them after the first down. That sure doesn't make any sense. All right, Dennis has got a question here. Let's see here. Why don't the Bengals do something the pros haven't seen for a while? Only college team is this. My thinking can the beer or maybe be the wishbone. Yeah, you can do the wishbone. I mean, but this week the offense wasn't the problem. It was the defense. Last week it was the offense. So that's what I keep saying. It drives me nuts. It's not one thing; it's something else. Get low. We went into the game with defensive game plan, but did not adjust. Yes, to the passing defense when the Colts had when they had to pass. That's what drives you nuts. Get low. You knew they had to pass. They were down 21-0. They ain't running the ball.
That's why when teams are up 21-0, that's when you find more interceptions, fumbles, sacks. None of that happened because we decided we're up 21-0. Let's play this thing to the end and rush 3 people. That if you watch the Ravens, the Squealers, any good team in the NFL, when they're up 21-0, they don't sit back and just let's take this thing to the last second. No,
they go after you. They back and go after you. All right, Facebook user, do you think Zac has assembled a relatively inexperienced coaching staff as he feels more inexperienced. Man, I can't read that. Say that word. Co-coordinator would be a threat to him in his own position. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the whole coaching staff, to be honest, the problem I think was he came in late. He was in the Super Bowl and he had to hurry up and quickly get guys, So maybe the guys he really wanted weren't there. I don't know that for a fact. I just know it was a very short time about that. So yeah. So I don't know. That's my only thing with the coaching staff. It was only a couple of weeks before the combine started. Man, God, I keep going back to the same one. Sorry.
And speaking of that, real quick,
go ahead.
I really would like to see what it would look like with Willie J the third on one side, Trey Waynes on the other, Reader healthy, Geno healthy. I mean, I would like to see what our defense would look like with Logan Wilson, Akeem Gaither. I would like to see us completely healthy and see how the defense does. But if you call a game like that, I don't care if you've got the steel curtain out there. You're still going to lose.
Back up. You can't play scared, and that's what we all said drove us nuts about Marvin Lewis, and Zac and the Bengals did the same thing yesterday. And it could be they got to learn to win. But I mean, if we know it, then why don't they know it? And that's kind of the way I think I said about the offensive line all offseason. If I know it that they suck, then they should know it because I'm just a fan. I don't know it. They're the ones that are supposed to know better than I am. So that's why I don't get it.
Yep. And one quick stat, and then I'll let Mike go on. But we were up 21-0.
Yeah.
We had one sack, 0 yards.
Right.
21-0, one sack, 0 yards. That is unacceptable. Period.
Right.
It blows my mind how you can be up 21-0 and have one sack for 0 yards. It's unexplainable. I don't know what you think, Mike, but I don't get it.
Yeah, that is totally unacceptable. I mean, when you have a 21-0 lead, you would figure that defense would be hungry to go after the quarterback, I mean, your mind should be focused on one thing, and that is with the guy that has the ball in his hands after it's snapped. They shouldn't be worried about anything else but the quarterback. So, that's a coaching problem right there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, William, I didn't understand not going for the 2 4th downs. You can't trade field goals for touchdowns. It's not like the defense was stopping anybody. The Bengals need to stop being so why can't I read that? Anyway, that word. Conservative. Thank you. You're putting big words on me, William. But yeah, and the thing is, I think they did go for it on 1 4th down where they had to go down, and they made it. And the Bengals have actually been, I don't know the stats, but I think they've been actually pretty productive going for it on 4th down. They converted, I think, more than they haven't. So, that's the thing too. But the other thing is, you got to look at it this way. Yeah, we need to score touchdowns, but we got a really good field goal kicker. I mean, Fat Randy, I know he missed. The thing that drives me nuts, he's only missed 2. 2 he missed. One was to tie the game. The other one was to take the lead. I was like, and he hit a 50-yarder and a 47-yarder. I mean, he can kick. So, I mean, that is a weapon that you have to consider, and you can't, So I do agree with William. We should have went for it, and because our defense wasn't stopping anybody. But I do understand we got, if he makes the field goal, it's a completely different game, But they still, the way the defense is playing, they still could have lost, because they're not going after. They're playing not to lose. Gillo says Zac has assembled a family and friends and associates. I guess that's his coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see it.
Going back to Randy Bullock real quick, though, if he would have made that field goal, it would have changed the whole dynamic of our last drive. We wouldn't. We wouldn't be looking way down the field to try to, with 43 seconds to go. we could have played rather conservative on offense, got to the 30-yard line, kicked a field goal, and got the hell out of there. But
right,
it didn't work that way.
all right.
Well, and that's what I said on a few shows a few weeks ago about Bullock, He does good when there's no pressure on him, but when there's a whole lot of pressure like this past week, he misses them. It's like you should be able to make them both ways, So, that's up to the coaching again, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I still wouldn't get rid of him. I mean, he's only missed two. They're two big ones. But if he doesn't make the other ones, if he doesn't make the other ones he made in the game, we're not in the game anyway. So, okay, Jeremy, not only up 21-0 with no sacks, but against arguably the least mobile quarterback in the league. I agree. And we let him sit back there and kill us. I mean, if you guys can go back and watch our show Friday, I know I said it. I know Jeremy said it. I'm pretty sure Mike said it. You got to get pressure on the quarterback because he can't freaking move. That should have been game plan A. Go get him because he can't do anything. Look what happened against the Browns. The Browns went after him, and he threw the ball all over the place. We let him sit back there and just pick us apart.
And that's one thing, too, about the defense. That's one thing about the defense, with the Bengals, You want to make the opposing quarterback feel uncomfortable back there, Now, when it comes to offense, you want to make your quarterback feel comfortable. But when you're on defense, a lot of times you need to make their quarterback feel uncomfortable where they don't want to do what they want to do, You put the pressure on them, not yourself. And that's what the Bengals got themselves into. They're putting a lot of pressure on themselves, and they're just not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So –
Yep.
And speaking of the offense real quick, I've seen a few people talk about Burrow. I don't want to hear nothing. Burrow played a great game. But a quick stat. Mixon ran for 54 yards. His longest run was 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a running game that is the longest run is 9 yards, he got 54 yards for the game, a long of 9 yards. That's putting way too much on your rookie quarterback. But it wasn't for Burrow because he still took us down there. So anybody that's got any reservations about Burrow, don't. This guy is the future. No,
exactly. One thing you say about the offense is, like, first 3 drives, we went down and we scored. And if you notice, all 3 times, we ran the ball and we ran their ass over. I mean, Mixon, when he scored, he's laying on top of Colts. That's why he wasn't down until he got to the end zone. He was laying on top, so we ran over them. So, again, we come back to coaching adjustments. Okay, the Colts obviously made some kind of adjustment because we never ran the ball like that the rest of the game. And one thing that we all complained about is one of the things that the Bengals needed to fix was the red zone efficiency. Well, they did that yesterday. But then the second half, we didn't get down there. We kept kicking field goals, which, I mean, we had the lead up till, the end or beginning of the fourth quarter. But those are things that winning teams, you like. Okay, I don't remember. You guys remember this game a couple years ago? I can't remember if Andy was the quarterback or if Carson was. But we had a shootout with the Browns. And it was up in Cleveland. And whoever won, whoever had the ball at the end of the game was going to win the game. But the thing is, that offense, the Bengals offense, knew that. And we kept going, kept fighting. And that's kind of the way yesterday was. They ended up scoring more than us because their defense, they stopped us, but not really. I mean, they stopped us. They did stop us. Like I say, they did. But that's where our offense has to keep going and say, no, we're going to keep scoring. We got to score. That's what's got to happen.
Giving up 21 points is just unexcusable, period. Doesn't matter who you are, what team you're with. That's miserable.
Right, Adam, coaching brings better players. The team is not ready to win. No matter how many points we are up, takes better coaching to win this game. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you. I mean, I don't. Good teams win those games. Colts are a good team. All right, Keith, I can tell you the defense problem in a nutshell. Great defense are active and make the offensive line adjust to them. Our defense is reactive, always adjusting to what the offense is doing. Yeah, I agree with you.
Good point.
That's the zone, and that's where we're backing off, guys. 5 yards. I'm like, it's 3rd and 10. Get up on them, and if they shouldn't beat you, but you should be backing up 5 yards on them and let the guy, like I said, the running back come out, and it's always in the middle of the field. There's so many times right past the line of scrimmage, running back catches the ball, wide receiver catches the ball, and then they're gone, and there's nobody within 10 yards of them. Then they kept doing that. It's like, all right, let's see here.
Nah.
That's the future. We need to beat the Browns like Andy Dalton. Yeah. Well, hopefully we got Browns week. We got to beat them. It'll be an interesting game Sunday, and hopefully it'll be a better outcome. All right, Adam. Oh, you're tweeting us at Adam. As Bum Phillips once said about Don Shula, he can take his and beat them with yours, and take yours and beat them with his. Yeah, that's good coaching. You can take their team and beat you against your other team. Yeah, that's what good coaching is, and I don't think we have it. But like I said, I don't think. The thing is, like I've said before, if you fire him now, it's going to be Amarillo or Callahan, or I don't know.
Well, and that's like I've said, man. Really, my takeaways from the game were, one, we lost the game through defense on 3rd downs. We could not get off the field.
Yeah.
For the life of me, on 3rd and 10, why are we rushing 3?
Yes.
Why? Yeah. Number 2, Green finally showed back up. That was nice to see. Yeah. It's going to be nice to see through the rest of the year. And 3, Higgins is showing pretty much everybody he's eventually going to be the number 1 in Cincinnati. My last one is, at the end of the day, you do have to put every single bit of it on the man in charge, which is Zac Taylor. But as we've all said, if you get rid of Taylor right now, who do you guys want? If there's anybody watching this or going to be watching it, please send us a comment, anything, and tell us who you would rather have: Zac Taylor, Jim Turner, Lou Anamorillo, however you say his name,
Armadillo,
or Brian Callahan. That's who you're going to end up with if we let Zac Taylor go now. So what would even be the point in letting him go now? Next year, I'm with you. If we only win 3 or 4 games, I'm with you. Right. But as of now, we're going to be stuck with the same guys we're complaining about every week.
Right. And the other thing the Bengals accomplished is they got a deep ball. Actually, should have got 2 of them, but they got a 67-yard pass to T. Higgins, and they should have had another one to AJ. AJ even says he should have went up and got it. So that's sort of like all of the things that there was a lot of stuff, good things that happened in that game that we've been waiting to see happen, and they actually happened. And then our defense does that. Gillow's got a good point here. Okay. Yeah. All right. Gillow says, remember, our top pass rushers were on the sidelines, Geno and Dunlap. Yeah, that was I guess, I mean, I honestly, to be honest, Gillow, I didn't pay attention to that because I thought Carlos and Geno were going to be on there more. But yeah, and then let's see, Apple Kid here. Or Crown, I would say Apple Kid. Why can't the Bengals cover the tight end? They couldn't cover anybody coming out of the backfield or in the middle of the field.
No.
You know? That's one.
He couldn't cover a running back.
Keep Taylor, and we need a better DC. Maybe, but dude, honestly, if Zac Taylor, like we've been talking about, if Zac is losing the locker room, and even if he gets the locker room back and they only win 3 games, 3 games ain't going to cut it. He's won 3 games in 2 years. That's it. That's all he's won so far.
Yeah, and if you were listening earlier in the show, man, we were talking about that. Mike Brown can't afford to have 2 or 3 more three-win seasons. I mean, we've got to get people in the stands so we can either get an upgrade to our stadium or build a new one, or we're not going to have any football in Cincinnati, NFL-wise.
Right. All right, Adam, LOL, if the offense played good, then the defense plays bad, vice versa. It's so predictable. I just knew we were going to blow the lead. Dude, I was with you. I'm like, when they started coming back, I'm like, no, please, no. Please, no. I'm like, all right. They scored. Okay, we just got to go down and score. We got to go down and score. We got, and we kick field goals. I want touchdowns, but it's just a game. It's a game you can't, you shouldn't lose. There's no reason to lose it. And it goes from the offense stopped scoring touchdowns, which that they need to fix that. But it was just adjustments. I mean, in the second half, the Colts made adjustments, and the Bengals didn't. I mean, they started stopping us, and we couldn't stop them. So
it's tough to be a Bengal fan when you're up by 21 points and the game's still not over. And we've been through it for many years, and we're always going to have that feeling. And yesterday we all got the same feeling, and it came true again. And sometimes you just wish, God, put me out of my misery. But we've still got we're still Bengal fans. We've still got, if anything, this makes us better fans than the way I look at it than anybody in the league, because we're still here. One of the two. Right. Exactly.
Right. All right, Keith, if I were the DC if I were DC, we're blitzing almost every down. Why? Wouldn't you rather have them score quick and then you can get Burrow out on the offense back out there, or torture you with a long clock eating drive? You just say, let them go score. And then, which, the thing is, the second half, they didn't score. They kicked field goals. Like, you gotta get touchdowns here. All right, Dennis, I think the Bengals fans need to cool it, because Mike Brown's never going to get rid of his something Taylor, because you remember how long he had Marvin. Yeah. Well, Dennis, I do agree with you. That's what he did, but Mike Brown, he doesn't want a new stadium. For what I've found out, he just wants it to be upkept, just basic stuff. And I know everybody's always mad and down about the Brown family and all this stuff because of the 90s, and we hadn't won a playoff game and all that stuff. And trust me, I'm with you. I understand all that. So that's where I'm like, if he wants that, he knows he's got to bring a winner in here. And trust me, Mike Brown knows how good Joe Burrow is. He knows what he has. So now by knowing that, you would think he would have fixed the offensive line, but they didn't. Anyway, that's neither here or there right now. But I just think, like I said, I thought it was really interesting that they're letting 12,000 fans in, and the tickets aren't all sold out yet. So that's got to be an eyebrow raise for the Brown family. All right, Adam's got a question for us here. Question for y'all: how does John Ross not play? They didn't need him. It's the only thing I can say. I don't know. Because we all complain about maybe using John Ross to take the top off the defense. Well, we did it twice. AJ didn't catch the ball, but hell, even Boyd got a pretty long pass too. That was all in the first half when we were moving the ball, and then the second half we'd move the ball and then we'd stop. And okay, and another thing, people were complaining about Zach's play calling. The only one which I think was completely idiotic and dumb was the halfback dive or whatever he tried to do. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Messing up here on the computer. The halfback dive he tried to do with Simeon. I can't think of his name. The third down there.
P. Ryan.
You know what I'm talking about? Huh?
Samaji P. Ryan. We went for it on third. Yeah.
Yeah. There. Sorry. Mike was gone. I had to try to get him out of there. It was messing me up. But yeah, that was the dumbest play call. I'm like, I understand Corey. Mixon was hurt or wasn't able to play right then. But why don't we quarterback sneak it? I'll go back to this. The New England Patriots would 99% of the time, if it's 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, they're hiking the ball right back to big old Tom Brady, and he's diving over it and scoring. And they did that in the first, down the end zone there, and Burrow scored, remember? But they never did it again. Why wouldn't you do it on that play? Why are you giving I think that was his first rush of the year. Yeah, first rush of the year. His first carry in 12 games as a Bengal. So I don't understand why that would be the thing. That's the play you go to. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and it all comes back to Zac Taylor's. That it all comes back to him. It's got to fall on somebody. And to go back to John Ross, for me, who was it that asked that question about John Ross?
I think it was Adam.
Adam.
Yeah,
just
Adam,
throw Adam a shout out on that question.
There you go.
I personally would take John Ross over Mike Thomas. I see potential there. I see a punt returner there. Yeah. I see maybe even a kickoff guy if you put him back. Wilson's great, but you could even put him back there as a second guy for kickoffs.
How about a punt returner?
Punt returns, kickoffs, and even those quick little tosses where the wide receiver runs around the end that we did with Boyd and we did with Higgins. Why not throw John Ross some of those type of plays? That's where he excels. So just to get back on what he was saying about John Ross, I'm with him there. I would like to see at this point where we are in this year with how we've played, what's it going to hurt to see what John Ross can do? Punt returning, some quick slants, screens, whatever. Get his speed going. Let's see what he has. I don't know about you, Mike, but
that's kind of what Keith's saying right here. He said he's answering Adam. He said, I have no idea. He's valuable to stretch the field as a decoy, if nothing else. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. You got something to say about it? Just want to get that on there. Okay, I can't hear
you there, bro?
Mike. He's All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. I had to let you go, dude. I could not hear anything you were saying. It was freezing. So try to get back on if you can. Okay. Okay. This is an upbeat one. We'll get it together. We just need to get better defense and better O-line. Zac made a bad play call, but he's still working on getting the roster he wants. T is going to be a beast for us. I agree with you on that. T is going to be a beast. And the thing is, look, if I'll go on the optimistic side. You know me, I'm kind of the optimistic one of the group here. If they turn it around and they can get this, because honestly, I'll tell you this. My first thought when we were up 21-0, I'm like, all right, we're going to win this game and we're going to roll on, and this is going to be a roll. We're going to keep, start going here. That's what I thought. So it could still happen. It's going to be hard, but I don't, but like I have to go back to, if he's losing the locker room, then we're going to get on a bad roll. It's going to be going down the hill into a fire, into a lake, and burn, it's not going to be good. So you got something to say there?
It's not like we have a deep roster where our veterans can be upset and we'll bring in these young guys and they'll just tear up the place. Right. We start losing our locker room, like you said, it's not going to be a good thing,
right? As
it already isn't. So it can't get much worse. But I guess now, looking at Sean Williams, Darius Phillips, Dunlap, I guess it can. I guess it can.
Yeah. All right, we got a Isaac says Darren Simmons take over as head coach if Taylor's fired. Maybe. I mean, he would be actually the longest tenured coach there. I mean, So I don't know. We'll get a little. I agree with Jeremy on John Ross. Yep. Let's see here, Dennis. Can you guys give me some hope that the Bengals will beat the Browns Sunday? Yes, I can give you hope because we scored 21 points. And then if we do bring that offense the entire time and we bring the defense that we had against Baltimore and we put it all together and finish one game like that, yes, that's what drives me nuts. We haven't done it. But that's that's in my head. Yes, that's what I keep thinking is we're going to get it together. At least I hope to God we are, because one part plays good and then the other part plays bad. And it's like, sorry, get a little.
Well, I'm just gonna put it out there simple for him. As long as there's a Cincinnati Bengals we will always have a chance to beat Cleveland. Don't you ever worry about that.
Remember, if it's brown, flush it down. All right, let's see here. Keith Ross should be there more often, especially now that AJ and more than the my God, why can't I read that word? Guy now.
Intermediate.
Thank you. Cheezel. Thank you. Retard public school here. Can't read sometimes. Intermediate guy now. It would be open that up even more because they have to respect Ross. Cheezel, I can't read. I totally screwed that up. I hope you guys understood what he said. But yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I think Adam brought up. Why not try to use Ross's speed?
Right.
Why not, try to use
Michael Thomas did good. Michael Thomas did good in the first 2 games. And ever since then, he's the one that fumbled the ball last week.
Yep.
So I'm not sure why. All right, why is Sean Williams mainly on a special teamer?
If you watch the game Sunday, you'd figure it out pretty quick, man. Sean Williams has never been the fastest guy on the field, but he was late quite a few times getting over. They threw a lot of passes his way. Now Sims didn't help him out. The cornerbacks didn't help him out. Other than WJ3, that's about all we have cornerback wise, if you ask me. But yeah, if anything, he was supposed to be part of the 3-4, and he was going to be part of the 4. And he was going to be the guy that either went back and took a tight end or went after the quarterback. For some reason, I don't know why, it hasn't turned out that way this year. But that's what Sean Williams was supposed to be a part of this year, and Zac Taylor's gotten away from it. I don't know why.
All right, Justin, you think Urban Meyer could become a candidate for head coach next season? Wouldn't be a bad idea, in my opinion. I could have somehow, some way make it happen. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be okay with it, but he's got health issues, man. So I don't know if he can do it. That's the reason he quits every time. Yes, Buckeye boy. Go ahead.
I am a Buckeye through and through, but I would much rather have the enemy than I got to admit it, than having Urban Meyer, because a lot of times college coaches just don't translate well to the NFL. Nick Saban showed you that.
Right.
And secondly, he's got, he's with the Buckeyes. He's been with Florida. He was with Youngstown State. It's always something with him. And I don't know what you think about it, Mike, but I'm not too high on bringing Urban Meyer here.
I agree with you, Jeremy. I don't think it'd be a good idea, just because, like what Jeff said, he has health issues, and if he comes here, he might not be able to last. So you want a guy to come in here that can come in and take control of the team. So that's my thought on it.
Exactly. So Jeremy, Gillo's got a shout out to you. You read that? Because you live in Cincinnati. That's hope enough to beat the Browns.
That's hope enough to beat the Browns. That's right, baby. As long as we got a team.
Yeah, I think this Facebook user talking about Sean Williams, make him a linebacker, which I had some talk last year of doing that, and I thought they might do that with all the secondary guys they signed, but it hasn't happened. All right, Adam. LOL, we probably have scored 40 to beat the Browns because we now the critics will say will be a bounce back game for them. I hate that. Yeah. Well, because the Browns, if Baker even plays, man, because Baker might not play. He cracked his ribs and he was gone. So, I don't know if he's going to play. We'll find out.
I don't either. I just know if we're going to win 3 or 4 games this year, we've got to beat Cleveland. We got to beat the Giants, and we need to beat the Redskins. Or my bad, not the Redskins, the Washington football team. Yes,
right. Bob K in the house. What up, boys? What's going on, Bob? How you doing, buddy? We know you like the Ratbirds. That's okay. Let's see here. Pro football is so different than the NFL. I think he's talking about hiring Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Dead on. Dead on.
All right, Keith. I don't think we have an issue with Browns. Could have beat them the first time. Their Dallas win was a fluke, and Pittsburgh that's Pittsburgh. Sorry, I'm messing up my own show up. Who do you think is a way overrated? Killed them yesterday. Yeah, the Browns. To me, they're one kind of crazy game like that yesterday from falling apart. So, and yeah, Gillow says, Baker and Chubb might be out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I agree with Pittsburgh being way overrated. Ben Roethlisberger is still pretty damn tough, and that defense is still pretty damn tough. I mean,
who did you?
I don't know about way overrated.
Who did what team? What
the Squealers? The Squealers. My bad. Pittsburgh Squealers.
Cuss on the show. Dang it, Jeremy. All right, Dennis. Here we go. For all the new subscribers and the ones I've been here. If you don't know, you do now. Strawberry Ice is the best damn podcast person. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate you, brother. If you don't know, now you know. Unfortunately, Strawberry Ice can't read sometimes. Bob K, what is with Pittsburgh and drafting receivers? They do well in that area, barely whiff. Yeah, there. I don't think Juju is a number one wide receiver, if you ask me.
I think they actually draft better on defense.
Yeah. And then they traded for a linebacker last year, man. Like, geez. So anyway, I hope you guys liked our new time. If it's easier for you guys to get on with us coming on at 5:30, let us know. Seems like we got a lot more viewers and a lot more questions and some new viewers. Because I know we've had some guys message me and message Jeremy saying, I want to get on the show, but I can't. I get off work, so we're trying to move it to 5:30 and see if that helps you guys out. But if you are new to the show, I would invite you to the Facebook groups that we help run. They are Bengals Nation, Bearcats Country, Reds Country, and Cyclones Country. And as always, follow me on all my social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. Now, this is a YouTube show. It's on Bengals Nation right now. It's on my Facebook page, Sports Strawberry Ice. But if you guys can do me a favor, if you're new to the show, or if you're watching on Bengals Nation and you watch it every week, that's great. I enjoy it. If you go to YouTube, subscribe. It's free. Just go there and click on Sports with Strawberry Ice. Give me a subscription. Like I said, it costs you absolutely nothing. Just helps me out a little bit. Now, hopefully I'll get this on the podcast. I didn't do the last two ones we did. I didn't get them on the podcast, but hopefully I'll get this one on the podcast. And if it's on there, do me a favor, give me a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate it. And YouTubers, like I said, we're up to 667 subscribers. So you want to take some more questions, Jeremy, or you want to end this? Because we got more people asking stuff here.
If we got some questions, let's take them, man.
All right, let's see here. Keith. All right. It's Jeremy. I always say they're overrated. My two favorite teams are the Bengals and whoever says Pittsburgh this week. Gotcha. All right.
Right on.
Adam, you like that time. You like our new time. That's good.
Yeah.
All righty. All right, brother. I think it's time to roll on out of here and end this thing. Jeremy Dean, will you please do the honor, sir?
You all, as usual, you know how it goes. When we win, we have fun. When we lose, we don't.
Exactly.
But as always, when we lose, there's one positive. Mm-hmm. That positive is you don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati. So let's act like it. Hoo-day.
And that's just sports, baby.